Welcome, baseball fans, back to HUD's House of Baseball and another edition. I want to share about the journey of being a minor league baseball player and how long and how hard it was to get to the majors. For some guys, man, they don't take much time at all. If they're drafted out of college, they go faster to the majors depending on your development and how good a player you are. But at 17 years old, drafted out of high school, that was a tough journey. You know, the odds of you making it to the major leagues once you're a minor league player are really slim. But I didn't know that, and I didn't care about it. I was going to be a big leaguer, I knew it, but it took time. Coming from high school where you play 37 games a year to a half a season where you're playing 90 games and then you go on to 130, I mean, it's quite a build. It's quite a job. So, you know, it took me some time for my body to mature, for my mind to mature, and I was way behind in both of those. Now, the potential was there. Being drafted ahead of Cal Ripken was my claim to fame. Didn't realize it at that particular time, but of course Cal went on and had a Hall of Fame career. I went on and became a pine rider and a utility player. But nonetheless, I was a big leaguer, so it doesn't matter. Flying all the way across America from Fresno, California to New York City to meet George Steinbrenner and the New York Yankees, that was a great experience in itself, but then it's off to Oneonta. A-ball. Wow, I held my own. That was a college town. It was fun. 3 months, hit 285, no problem. So my first stop in Oneonta was a short season. When the draft is in June, players that are drafted that are okay to play for 3 months, the rest of the season. Art Masmanian was my manager, and he was great for me. He was a college coach, and he was excellent with young players. But he goes A-ball, AA, AAA, you know, and not always in that order, depending on your talent and the need of the team at the time. But being so young, I didn't realize it was going to take so long. And little did I know the odds are like this. They're stacked against you just when you're a minor league player to become a major league player. So it's not easy. Let's go to full season the next year in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and see how we do there. Did okay. 135 games, man, it's a grind. Had a few breakdowns, little ankle injury, few knee injuries. Well, let's go back the next year in 79 and 80. 80, back in A-ball. Okay, 81, Florida State League to start, got hurt, torn some cartilage in my knee, but I could still play, and I went to play in Greensboro, North Carolina, and learned how to play second base. It was a key stop for me in my minors, as Bob Schaefer was an excellent instructor with the Yankees. He helped teach me how to play second base. That helped me. And he's been all over baseball since. Played second base the rest of my career. That in the outfield. Greensboro, back to Fort Lauderdale, 81, 82. Hey, a little chance for AA. Johnny Oates was my Nashville Sounds coach, and man, was that a fun stop. I only went there for 3 months, though, but Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn, the Oak Ridge Boys, they all owned the baseball team, and it was a great stop. It was so fun. I was 21 years old and thinking, wow, man, this is closest to the big leagues I'll be. And sure enough, it was. Sellout crowds every night in Nashville, Tennessee was a lot of fun. Then the next year, thinking for sure I might go to AA, maybe AAA again. Back to the Florida State League. I'm like, what is going on here? 6 years in A-ball I spent. Now that year, I remember Stump Merrill was my manager for the Fort Lauderdale Yankees, and I was desperate to move on just to another city. So I asked Stump what he thought about me writing George Steinbrenner a letter. I wrote the boss a letter and asked him for a promotion. Dear Mr. Steinbrenner, I'm presently hitting 300 in the Florida State League. It's my 6th year in A-ball. I would appreciate you considering a promotion for me. All my best, Rex Hudler. Took it to the Bay Harbor Inn in Tampa, and I took the letter to the receptionist at the front desk and said, ma'am, can you give this to Mr. Steinbrenner when he comes to town? She said, sure, I'll take it up to him. Right now, he's here. I went, oh, and I got a little tight. I wasn't sure about that. I was expecting him to be there. Sure enough, I get to the ballpark in St. Petersburg, Al Lang Stadium, and there's Stump Merrill, my manager, is sitting in the stands with George Steinbrenner at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Wow. Meeting was over. Stump came down. I asked Stump, did Mr. Steinbrenner say anything about the letter I gave him? He said, yeah, kid. He loved the letter. I went, oh, great. Stayed for the game, got a couple base hits, and the next morning, I got a call said you're going to AAA. And 7 years, I got to play with the Yankees. 83, 84 was the Columbus Clippers. That was a great stop for me. Beautiful stadium there in Columbus. The Yankees were a solid organization, but that's where I met my wife. That was a good stop. One of the best stops in my life. Sure enough, I tricked her into marrying me. Once the Yankees traded me, now they called me up in the offseason and said, hey, Rex, this is Clyde King. We've traded you to the Baltimore Orioles. And I was like, man, what do you do? All my daddies and all my coaches and friends I knew were gone. Now I got to start with a new organization. Didn't work out so well there. So I spent some more time in their AAA. That was Rochester, New York. Good stop. The Red Wings was a lot of fun. I got to meet some people there. There was a lot of big leaguers. Heck, Ron Washington was on the team. Billy Ripken was on that team. John Habian, a lot of players that went to the big leagues on that team. John Hart was my manager. Just a ton of fun. Up and down for 2 years with the Orioles. And then, hey, didn't work out there again. Wrong place, wrong time. But I'm closing in on 10 years of the minors. And that was like, wow, man, what am I going to do? It's not easy to get to the majors. 88, I was a minor league free agent. I was a nobody. The Expos signed me, and I had to start in AAA. So where do I go? Indianapolis. Great stop. Indy. Hall of Famer on that team. A guy named Randy Johnson was on that team. Otis Nixon. There was a lot of good-looking young players in there. Johnny Paredes, John Dobson, Sergio Valdez. Some pitchers that were really good. Brian Holman. Finally, said goodbye to the minors halfway through the 88 season. I got called up to the majors, Otis Nixon and I, and that was it. Playing with the George Steinbrenner-led New York Yankees in their minor league system, that was quite an honor. We had first-class buses, brand new buses. Uniforms were all clean. The Yankees, they ran a tight ship and a clean ship. Everything was first class. And what came with that? Winning. George Steinbrenner wanted to win every single level, and he did. And what that did for me, it taught me how to become a winner, a winning ball player. Now in the majors, for 10 years, I never made one playoff game, but man, that didn't determine whether I was a winner or not. Being on those teams in the minors won. We had so much hardware. Man, with Nashville, Columbus, we won a ring in every single level in the minors, and I'm very proud of that. Never went back to the minors. Got married after the 88 season. No more minor league days. God brought me a beautiful wife that I never spent a day in the minors with married. 10 straight years in the majors. It was a beautiful thing, but man, whew, was it a tough journey. Never give up. Never quit. If I would have given up, I would have missed out on 10 years of the majors, a full pension, and a lot of beautiful things. That's enough for this edition right now, but I just got to share with you, that was a hard journey. Man, I don't know if I'd want to do that again. I mean, I had a chance to get a full degree at Notre Dame during that period of time, no question, and a master's, as long as it took me to get to the majors. But thanks for staying with me, and till we see you again in HUD's House of Baseball, see you later.